It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies in theaters, streaming, and classic films as well. Directors and actors, beware, as you cannot hide from the rage. My name's Bryce, and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim. Hey, Jim.
Oh, hey, Bryce.
He was a beebin in a box.
I was busy doing stuff, remember? It's not important what I do, so,
No.
Hey.
Yeah, obviously it isn't. And the Merman, who's wearing number 9 from the Detroit Lions. Are we throwing back? Stafford?
Nine.
It's a throwback, because tomorrow is football.
Football, you bet.
So did the Lions make the right move, trading Stafford to...
I don't know. Hard to tell. One has a Super Bowl, one other one doesn't. So I don't know yet.
There you go. But one's got a lot more years left in
Put
it,
it
wouldn't
this
you
way,
say?
the guy they have now isn't as bad as I thought he would be.
What's the age difference between those two?
I don't know.
It's got to be like 5-6 years at
Can I
least.
just ask one thing that our listeners are probably asking?
Yeah.
What movies are these assholes in?
I'm sure they're in something.
They're not in anything.
No, I don't
sure
think
they
I
are.
don't think they're in anything.
I'm sure they
They're
are.
in
Yeah.
some commercials.
There you
Well,
go.
that's not a movie.
Stafford's got a sleep number, you know.
FYI,
Exactly.
that's not a movie.
They're a member of SAG. That's all I know.
There you go.
I doubt that very highly.
I think they are.
So with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
Well, thanks to all been supporting us. If you love our independent podcasts, especially our intros, why don't you just like, subscribe, share, and give us a 5-star rating on your listening platform, or support us and join the Film Rage community by joining our membership at buymeacoffee.com/Film Rage YYC. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still buy us a movie rental and dare us to see a terrible, terrible film. And we'll watch it. It's played anywhere in the cinema in the world. Now, let's get to raging. But first, happy Thanksgiving, all yo's in the States.
Gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble. Amazing moment predict. Amazing moment predict. Will predict the rage or will he predict the Monday? Tell us all what Jim and Bryce saw at the movies. Here he comes now, better watch out, 'cause he's coming swimming too. Swim, Murray, swim, Murray.
Swim, Murray, swim.
Swim, Murray, swim, Murray.
Swim, Murray, swim.
Swim all the way to our hearts, our little Thanksgiving hearts.
Yankee Thanksgiving hearts.
Wow, apparently it was a very slow week.
Yeah.
There were 2 movies that came out, but you guys had a sneak peek of the other ones.
That's
so I guess
right.
We're not going to talk about that one.
We talked about that 2 weeks
already
ago.
talked about that piece
That's right.
too.
So the other one, which of course you know, was a little old musical
That's right.
based on a Broadway play.
Yeah, that's
based
right.
on a book
That's right.
called Wicked. Part
Wicked.
Uno. It was only part 1.
Yeah,
What?
that was.
In case you're not
that was
sure.
That was quite the shock.
That
to be
was a
honest.
surprise to you. That
It
wasn't a surprise to me.
was sure was.
Anyway.
I'm
It
going.
was
It's
to
a.
me, too.
It's a 6-hour movie. How the hell can there be a part 2? But the thing starts. It says Wicked Part 1, and I'm like, what?
And FYI, the entire musical is only 2.5 hours. If you go to it in the theater, it's only 2.5 hours.
Yeah, that's the word on the street.
But anyway, yeah. So this is kind of a tough call because Jim really doesn't like musicals,
I don't. Except when I'm in
but he
stage.
is familiar with the songs.
Yes.
I don't know if he was singing along because you're not allowed to do that in the States apparently.
I did, but that's okay.
But as him and I discussed after we saw it, yeah, there was some issues with the pacing, and it was way too long. So maybe he gave it a meh.
Maybe.
I don't think he raged about it, but you never know.
Interesting.
and
Bryce,
And
I don't know. He doesn't seem to be a very jolly person. I can't see him going to a lot of musicals.
he's very
but
hate-filled.
He is.
It's not true.
He is. I think he probably had the same problem with it as we did, but I don't think he raged. So let's go double meh.
All right.
All right.
All right then. That's all I have because I didn't go to the cuff thing.
Yeah,
I
so
had
we
no-
did. We do have another couple movies to talk about, but did you want me to bat this out, there, little captain?
You talking to me?
Do you want me to
Yeah,
do
you're the little
predictions
captain.
anyway, or what?
He's the little admiral.
What are we doing?
Admiral.
Oh, we're doing the-
We're going to talk about a movie now that was in cinema.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're talking about the movie that
Yeah.
was in cinema. Wow, there was
That's
2,
right.
but we already did
the
the
big
other
one. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you go for it.
All right. Well,
I don't even remember it really.
okay.
I think there's like a green person in it.
There is a green person.
And there was some
There were some
non-green
Munchkins
and
that weren't Munchkins.
There were no Munchkins.
Yeah, so
There's
trust me when I say
Munchkins.
that will come up in what I'm about to say, just
All right.
FYI. So,
Go to it.
Wicked. Now imagine everybody, if you could just close your eyes for a moment here, and close your eyes and imagine you hear Wicked live on screen in cinemas. Right?
Sure.
Wouldn't that have been great?
I mean the Broadway play, but in a
Exactly,
theater.
the
That's what they should've
Broadway
done.
musical.
What they should have done.
You know what, though? It just wasn't Holly weird enough. So this is not Wicked the musical. In fact, I don't know what this was, except maybe Hollywood's twisted version of taking a great musical, which has been around for 20 years, and Disneyfying it and using Harry Potterisms and injecting nonsense and additions to a fantasy musical film. Yes, I realize that sounds like a little bit of an oxymoron to begin with, but all the great things about the stage presentation, which also includes, as Murray's already alluded to, the pace of the musical and how that felt natural and made sense in the existing lore of the original Wizard of Oz, is all thrown out the window, where we now have a story I just couldn't buy in cinema. I mean, The Wizard of Oz is one of my favorite films of all times. It's in my top 10. And Wicked instantly became one of my favorite stage musicals upon seeing it years ago. I tried to just watch this with new eyes, but they added or Hollywoodized it so much. They twisted this story in small ways that made me question the validity of what I was seeing, and added things that added no value from the original musical. Like most Hollywood versions of theater projects, they take a great musical and add way too much dialogue and way too much filler we didn't need, which, in my opinion, is only to try and make more money by making 2 movies out of 1. Look, I cannot remember all of what happened in the musical from when we originally saw this. Although, as I was kind of watching this, I kept thinking to myself, and actually Murray and I were discussing, was this in the musical? What about this? Was this also in the musical? I can't remember
so long ago,
I saw it so
forgot.
long ago at the theater. But what I do remember is that when I came out of the musical originally, when I saw it, I thought, this is the greatest musical I've ever seen, mostly because of my love of The Wizard of Oz. But also, it was fast, and it was exciting, and it was dynamic on stage. But in watching this, as the film progresses, it was way too long that we had for the songs, and all the stuff they kind of added didn't really make sense. I almost had the feeling that as we're watching it, they said, you know what's missing in here? We need to put a shit ton of dialogue in between these songs, because this was really not a musical. To me, it was like we're watching I guess maybe a stage play, and every once in a while they throw
like
in a
Disney
song.
type
It was-
movie. Like
It was wall-to-wall songs. What are you talking about?
No, it wasn't
really
wall-to-wall
wasn't.
songs.
They talked in it?
There was mostly talking in this.
Those the parts where you were nodding off?
No, I stayed awake through the whole thing.
No, this had way too much dialogue. In the musical, the music is fast and furious, and there's a significant amount, or should I say, a significant lack of dialogue, because the songs tell the story.
Yeah, no, the conversations were in between the songs were only to get to the next song.
That's right. This felt different than the musical too, because the music felt like the music was made for adults in the actual
Broadway,
musical
yeah.
Broadway production. And for some reason, this felt more like this was made for teenagers.
It's Disneyfied, yeah.
Right. It was
A lot of it
totally
was
felt
casting,
Disneyfied.
too. It was casting, too.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how to explain that other than it really did feel like this movie was not for me. The stage performance of this was definitely for me. And then don't get me started on why the fuck Munchkin Land was not a land made up of little people. I mean, you want to diversify, this was a moment to have a cast of talented little people, actors in a film, and make up for the sins of the original film. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should go look that up, because there was a lot of sins that happened to the actual people, the little people that played in Munchkin Land.
Yeah.
Now, I know the musical of this, it also didn't make...
Yeah, they didn't really
It was
talk about
still
it much.
also Munchkin Land was not with little people. And a musical, it's... You know what? I'm not necessarily talking about the musical. I'm comparing it to it. You make everything else in this super woke and at times annoyingly woke. But then you can't cast Munchkin Land as a place where these are actual little people in it. I'm not saying Peter Jackson did it right either, but at least what would hobbits be like in Lord of the Rings if they were regular height? I mean, that's all part of the story. The fucking town is called Munchkin Land.
But they
shrunk them down.
They shrunk them down.
That's the part I'm talking about. Peter Jackson could have done something better. He could have actually got little people to play the roles. There's a ton of little people actors around the world.
Even in like Snow White and the Huntsman, they had a few dwarves, but they weren't actual dwarves. They were just regular people that they shortened them through CGI or whatever. What? What did I do?
Nothing. Just I'm pointing towards Bryce for his eyes.
Oh.
All right.
He's distracting me.
In the musical, I felt there was magic, but in this film, I didn't feel that it was even a world where magic existed like the original. Or is it just our heroine that has magic? They're kind of changing the way the story feels, because I really didn't feel that Michelle Yeoh's character had any powers.
No.
I mean, she kind of shows some kind of powers, but it didn't really feel like magic.
She didn't. Like there was one scene where it was like there was lightning and stuff in the air, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I'll take care of this." But did she really?
Yeah, exactly. They don't show her. There's no magic.
So they don't show her with actually any powers.
Which again changes the feel of
I don't remember
the musical.
the original character from the musical.
Now, all that being said, Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande did an amazing job of both acting and singing. But for the most of this, I felt really nothing emotionally connecting me to these characters. Not like the musical, where I did instantly. I did, however, well up a little bit in the last 10 minutes of this film.
Yes. It was
but not a full-out cry like I did in the musical originally.
Yeah.
So, my rage is taking over.
No, really?
Oh, sorry, where was I? Oh, yeah, things I liked. The set design is incredible in this. It gives you a whole updated image of what Oz is now in 1999. What's that? In 2024. And the detail made in actual set pieces and costume set design was breathtaking.
Was amazing.
But to change both the musical and the original lore and inject a whole bunch of Hollywood nonsense and unnecessary dialogue, and then on top of that, make two films that apparently both are going to be about 2 hours and 40 minutes out of a stage play that was 2 hours and 45 minutes, including a 15-minute admission halfway
Intermission.
Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. I just cannot get behind this project at all. It was way too bloated, and if you ask me, just take the original musical. Keep it tight and fresh with the music compacted into a tight 2 hour and 45 minute film, and heck, even make two movies that are an hour and a half long
each
for the amount of extra in this that didn't need to be there. Plus, for making a movie out of my favorite musical that, in my opinion, does not capture the feel of the original movie or the musical, this makes this a rage. I could not get past the fact that they made me sit through 2 hours and 40 minutes. And from now on, if you're going to put 2 hours and 40 minutes of a movie, put a fucking intermission in it. That's all I want to say.
They should do that anyway. Anything over 2 hours, they should have a 15-minute intermission. Little popcorn guys dancing.
Exactly.
That's what they should do from now on.
Lobby.
Exactly. Just stop the film halfway through, have the intermission, people can go out and pee and come back, then finish the movie. Exactly. I'm really happy if they ever did that.
Awesome. All right, who's up?
I don't know.
That's
he looks.
It's you, Bryce.
He looks shell shocked
Wake up
right now. I don't know if he even wants to
wake
talk.
up. He wants to talk. He's got lots to say.
Oh, what do you got to say about this, Merman?
Want me to talk? Okay. Last weekend was crap because we had like a foot and a half of snow. I couldn't even get out of my own driveway.
No.
And then Jim was nice enough to come and get me and take me to see this. I thought, well, okay, I'm not in a good mood anyway, but I thought, well, maybe this will lift me up.
And you know the rules, man.
I did enjoy the musical.
No ass, No grass.
Yeah, well, we won't talk
No
about that
gas.
in public. But yeah. Yeah. Again, I saw the musical when it was here. Took a friend from out of town who was here visiting, and we really enjoyed it. And I had misgivings about Miss Ariana Grande, because as much as I'm sure her music is great, I mean, she has some songs I recognize, and she was a coach in The Voice and all.
I don't know who you're talking about. What's an Ariana Grande?
Well, look at the credits
She's
of
the
Wicked.
tiny one.
she was
blonde chick.
Glinda.
Glinda.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. Anyway,
Galinda.
she's a
Galinda.
She's a pop star.
That's who that was.
She's
And
famous.
she has millions
I don't
and
know.
millions of teeny bopper fans.
She's
All right.
famous.
Anyway,
You say so.
Just like you.
I knew Cynthia Erivo. I knew she had a powerful voice. I knew she could do that. She crushed the hell out of that. She was amazing.
She was good.
I mean, I still prefer the OGs who made a short appearance in the movie for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That was
Dina,
corny.
Dina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth.
awesome.
I loved them both.
It was
They
super
are the
awesome.
originals.
I didn't even see the original musical.
Like Kim pointed out, didn't she?
She did.
Of course she did. Oh, look who that is, because you didn't know. I knew.
Exactly.
I wasn't sure if you knew, but
I
I knew. Anyway, that's my
And I
OGs. But I
didn't
mean,
care.
yeah, trying to live
What's
up
a
to
stage play,
trying to
Brett?
live up to Adina Menzel's.
I just went to a stage
shoes.
play. Took my
I think
mother to
Cynthia
one
did an
when she was
amazing
here.
job. But Ariana Grande, the first 5 minutes in the movie,
Like I've probably been to
couldn't
4
freaking
stage
stand her.
plays in the last 2
Oh
years.
my god! I thought, oh my god, I gotta watch 2.5 hours of her trying to act. But yeah, she just really embraced the role and being this, mean bitch who basically, eventually softens up and makes the green girl her best friend. But yeah, at the start I didn't like her at all. But yeah, the musical numbers and even like the acting in between, I think she crushed it too. But apparently she's been preparing for this her whole life. Like since she was a little girl, she's wanted to do this, so she was ready. Jeff Goldblum, yeah, he didn't have a lot to do, but I didn't mind him. I mean, he's Goldblum. But yeah, Michelle Yeoh was wasted. I mean, she didn't have a big enough part, and I didn't know what her character was supposed to be. I don't remember her from the original musical, but yeah, she runs the school, but she doesn't have any magic powers, but she's teaching them magic. It's like that.
I know.
That makes no
this
sense
is the
to
stuff
me.
they added so much stuff in here.
And yeah,
they should have explained
and no
some
actual.
stuff.
It's called Munchkin Land. There's no actual people under 5 feet tall. Even the teenagers are like almost 6 feet
They're
tall.
7 feet
No,
tall.
no,
Yeah.
I saw them in the movie. They were all huge.
Yeah, they're all huge. They're not Munchkins.
Yeah.
And
No, they're from Munchkin Land. They were Munchkins.
Yeah, yeah, they were
Munchkin
Munchkins.
Land
they're
is
like-
supposed to be
they're-
Munchkins.
Super tall munchkins.
Okay, no,
Little
I,
people.
I saw them, Murray. They were big. They're the same size as everybody else.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
they weren't Munchkins then.
Yeah.
But they were. They called the Munchkins, and they were they were from
Yeah,
Munchkin
well,
Land.
They're from Munchkin Land.
So I'm very confused right now.
So you live in Calgary. Does that make you a cowboy?
no.
No. Exactly. My point. Anyway, the only
Okay.
little person or person of short stature in the entire film
Is a voice.
played a goat.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
And yeah, the whole animals who can talk and the whole
I like animals
thing
that
about that.
talk.
I don't remember that from the original musical either.
Yeah,
I don't
they-
remember that as being a major plot point.
The goat is a big part of the original musical
I don't remember that.
too.
I
Yeah,
don't remember any
there's the
talking animals in
animal.
the first
There's
one.
the animal rights.
Yeah.
I might have
that's-
to-
that had to-
it just seemed like they made it a
yeah.
bigger deal than it was in the original. But anyway.
Yeah, okay.
And yeah, 2 hours and 40 minutes, and that was only part one.
Yeah.
And it ended the exact same place that part one of the Broadway musical ended.
Correct.
Exact same spot.
That
So
makes sense.
if you knew exactly how the first act ended, that's how you know this one ends. And
Now,
then-
now we're getting like a year of let's all go to the lobby.
next Christmas.
So we're
the
all
second
going
one's
to the
coming out.
lobby for a year.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then
Can
coming
we
back
make it 2
next
or
Christmas to
6?
see part 2.
Or maybe do what the Costner thing did and just don't release the second one.
We can only hope it's shorter than the first one, but I don't know if it is.
It's going to be longer.
Well,
it's going
no,
to be
in-
like
in
three-
the
you know
actual-
what? They're going to split it in 2 movies.
In the actual Broadway musical, it's the second act is actually about 30 minutes shorter.
I can't believe we're still talking about this goddamn movie.
Because that's the only thing we have this week.
Yeah, we got an hour.
No, we don't
film.
have to stretch out anything.
somewhere to go?
You are boring me to freaking tears. Jim was like, "You're better, okay? Don't get me wrong." Jim had me almost bored to tears. Like I'm sitting here looking up more movies for our frickin' Christmas Rage frickin' Krampus episode, which I found Carnage for Christmas, which came out this year, and I think that actually should be part of our
Oh,
episode.
maybe it will be.
But
Spoiler.
at any rate,
You know what? You had your chance to say something. So, Mary, what
right.
else were you
Yeah,
going to say?
go
I
ahead.
was pretty much done. I'm like, yeah, I like the musical parts, and yeah, Cynthia and Ariana crushed that part of it.
Did they?
But there was so much crap in between that I don't remember from the actual musical. Like at one point, I went to the bathroom because it's 2 hours and 40 minutes long, and I came back and
God, I wish I would have went to the bathroom.
It was like some kind of ballroom dance thing, and then like Elphaba, the green chick, she's like doing weird stuff on the dance floor. People are laughing at her, and I'm like, what was that? Was it like the African anteater ritual? What the hell was that? So I didn't think that was a necessary scene, and then it added a bunch of crap you didn't need to. But yeah, at the end, the last 15-20 minutes, awesome. Like granted special effects because she can't actually fly.
What?
I know, spoiler alert. But no, the whole thing leading up to it, the whole chase, all that stuff was awesome. So yeah, I can't give it a rage because I love my musicals, but it's definitely a man. Like, it's not good enough for Mondo. It was too long. Cut about 45 minutes out of that, I might have changed my mind.
I think maybe an hour out of it.
All right, Bryce. Now you can talk.
Okay, well, Ariana Grande or whatever her name is.
Ariana Grande.
Okay.
Like extra.
She starts singing in this high-pitched, whiny frickin' voice.
Yes.
I couldn't understand a goddamn thing that came out of her mouth.
Subtitles.
I was lost immediately because she's singing away. I don't know what the hell's going on because I can't understand any of it. And then it just got worse from there. This is just a complete waste of freaking time. I'm sure the musical's better.
It's way better.
But this was not good. And then when it came up, it came up as part one, and I'm like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? Let's give it a chance. And then she starts singing it. I don't even know what the hell's going on. I couldn't understand her.
Because you
the
never
whole
saw
movie.
The musical.
She's singing it. Can't understand any of it. It was like a freaking dog whistle. I don't know what's going on. I hated this. This is a complete rage. I can't believe that I have to go to another freaking episode. I'm cutting this short because I don't want to talk about this bloody thing anymore. And then Jim's going to say, well, I got some things to unpack. And you know what? I don't care. Why are we unpacking anything with this thing? It's awful.
I love it.
I think Bryce needs a timeout.
No, he's...
Having said all that, I liked Cynthia Erivo. I think she was good. She's the only thing that shines in this whole movie.
She's great.
But that is not enough to get this beyond a rage because I could not. Ali Grande, you're terrible. Okay? You're just terrible.
Don't even bother.
Yeah. So okay, now I'm kind of excited.
Rage.
No, so because Kim has seen the musical, so both Murray and I and Kim have seen the musical. What did Kim think this was a rage as well?
I think she thought this was a bit of a waste of time. I don't think she hated it. I would imagine that she would give it a meh, but probably a low one. She wasn't super enthralled.
At the end of it, she was like, "This was not the musical."
Yeah, and she, yeah. No, it wasn't even that because she didn't even like the musical. Like she doesn't think that the musical's that great either.
Okay,
She's not a big fan of Wicked. So.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That would help, probably.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That probably would make it worse.
She was interested to see what they were going to do, and then she's like, she immediately brought up the fact that this was like 2.5 hours, and the stage plays about that long.
Yeah.
It is. If you take out the intermission, it's 2.5 hours.
It's less than 2.5 hours. Yeah.
So it, just bloated garbage. I hated this.
Yeah, it's way too
It was
bloated.
Disneyfied. That's what happens.
It was. It felt really Disneyfied.
It was an excuse to get your money, is what it was.
And
what it was.
and then
Can we
the
get
hype.
on with our lives? Do we need to talk about this
then.
anymore?
So we're going to
No, we're done. So we had a rage sandwich, is what we got there. Mm-hmm. With Murray's mammy.
Yeah, I can't.
We had a pretty mild rage on one side of this bread.
Yeah, that was a mild rage. I was surprised.
The other one was all
no, because well, you're gonna hear more about this later in the episode, so get ready for that, just so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving on. So yeah, there was Cuff Dogs, which I did not attend this year.
So unfortunately for Cuff Dogs, so people listening, if you're from Calgary,
we are Devo.
We are Devo, yes. But we normally will go to every festival that Cuff puts out because they're always fantastic. This particular year, I was sick for most of the festival.
And we had
so I couldn't go. Plus, we had snow, which Murray could not make. So the only night that Bryce and I were able to attend was Friday night. So we saw 2 movies. And
we
so
had
we're
to
going to talk
choose a
about
night.
them.
I think that's the night.
That was the best.
Yeah.
You know what? I have seen a lot of these movies that they
'cause you
played
previewed
anyway.
them, yeah.
So, but okay, so we're going to talk about Devo, the movie.
Yes.
So, after Bowie, but before Guar, there was Devo. Or at least, they may say, we are Devo.
Yes.
This doc is intellectually stimulating and whips society's mindset into shape. The de-evolution of man started by evil cannibal monkeys and continues to devolve, including the decline of creative and unique artists like Devo. They started from being a visual group to a musical group to a film group, and I agree the mix of music and images which creates movies, which is the greatest form of art there is, right from the mouth of Devo, is a way to explain this film. I always knew who and what Devo was and what they wanted to
Guys with the
be.
funny hats.
And with tongue firmly in cheek, pointing fun at our society, and now I know their entire history. Some may feel that the end of Devo was a sad note in the history of creativity, but then if we didn't have Devo and it didn't end, then we would not always get to smell sausage in many new things even happening today. I absolutely loved this doc. Anybody who has a chance to see it has to see it. It is fun, and because I love these guys from album number 1, which I had the original pressing of this when it first came out, and still listen to it and enjoy this today. The doc is so mondo. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I am not the biggest Devo fan ever because
I thought we are Devo.
Yeah, we. And the reason being is that they were just slightly before my time, and I, for some reason, I missed out on Devo. And, you know, any documentary that comes out where I don't know a lot about the band, and at the end of it, I want to know more, and I also want to own some of their music.
Yeah.
And that was the case again with this one. Devo is so unique. I did not like my whole thing with Devo is I knew Whip It, and I knew that they covered the Stone song Satisfaction.
Yeah.
That was the end of Faction, which was I could just picture Mick Jagger dancing to it because apparently they played it for Mick Jagger just to get his okay. And at first they were like, I don't know if he's digging this at all. Then all of a sudden he started dancing around the room. They got the old okay with Mick Jagger dancing. Moves like Jagger. At any rate, this was so well done. It was so interesting. I knew nothing going in about Devo. I really didn't. I knew that it stood for de-evolution. That's all I knew. Yeah. And I didn't really know what that was because I wasn't even like when they were big, which, you know, they weren't really ever big, but when they had their one big hit, that's all I ever heard. And even that was kind of before I was really listening to music. Like, what was that, 82, 83?
Yeah, it's got to be... Well, I bought the album in high school. So.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think I was like...
You were in elementary
7 or 8
school.
Or something, yeah. So
you didn't know nothing from nothing.
I knew nothing from nothing. And
so
they weren't...
And so, just so you know, it wasn't just Whip It. Like, Whip It was their biggest song.
The only thing I know
But their one album had, like, 4
four
songs on the charts.
All
yeah.
I ever heard was Whip It.
Yeah.
And that's the whole deal.
And the video with them with the plant pots on their heads. That's the only thing I know about with Devo. That's it.
At any rate, I'm not going to yammer too much longer, but the fact of the matter is, this made me want to know more. I was very, very intrigued by this band and the concept and the evolution of the band. I mean, it's the great
evolution of the band.
Yes, good, touche. This was a very good documentary, so good that I would say it is Mondo.
Yeah, and you know, here's the thing about this, and the fact that I think we got every single Devo member in their interview too. But there's the 2 main guys that they did most of the talking.
Yeah.
And to me, it was just like what's so cool about it is that the Devo Devoians, if that's a thing, are now still working together today to this date,
Really?
directing films, making things. Like I put some
there's
somewhat
the creative
inside
juices
jokes.
are still
Do they
flowing.
still have the plant pots on their head?
No. The plant pot was just for like
Just
a
the one
shtick. They
video?
had a lot of different shticks that they did.
Yes.
It was just like they were one of
They
the
also have
first.
the JFK hair.
Yeah, the
which,
JFK
which everybody thought was Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan hair. It's like, no, it's JFK hair. Because I guess that's pretty similar haircut, probably in the 60s and 50s. But now the reason I brought up the smelling sausage is the one guy's like, yeah, I put that into every single piece of work that we do.
Yes.
Can you smell sausage? It's just like random shit like that, trying to stir up shit in society. I would
good.
buy this. It made me re-download Devo albums that I haven't heard in a long time. I wish these guys would go on tour again. That would be so much fun to see them.
I'm disappointed every time I see anybody go do reunion tours. It's a
Well,
bummer, man. I don't know why anybody wants
They
that.
never go alone anymore. Like all the old groups in the 70s and 80s, they like clump them all together. Like,
I only
see
want
these,
Devo.
Actually, these five bands are all touring together.
I want to see Devo and Guar. Those are because
There you go.
the reason I make that comparison to Guar.
No Dave Brocky with Guar anymore. It's not worth it.
But Guar is always still going to be fun. I don't care what you say.
They'll be.
I don't care what you say. No matter what de-evolution of Guar we get.
Okay, if Devo and Guar came to town as a double bill, yes, I would be there.
Yeah, because like that's what Devo was. Devo was. It wasn't just the music. It was everything. You were there for an experience. Like the fact that they
you can say what you want. It was theater, and they were also definitely trying to get messages across. And whether you like it or not, Guar, and it was totally art. And Guar is the same. Guar also has a message.
That's why I
Guar
said it.
also is art. Yeah, they're kind of two sides of the same coin.
They took their influence from Bowie. So it really is the evolution, de-evolution of Devo
Bowie,
is Bowie, Devo, Guar.
Guar.
That's exactly my argument.
I like it. Okay.
Totally.
You know what? I'm on board with that. Normally,
what?
I'm not on board with the stupid crap that comes out of your mouth. But this time, the stupid crap that's coming out of your mouth is making some sense.
You know what? Ariana Grande did a great job.
Oh,
Yes, she
whatever.
did.
I couldn't even understand her. I can't hit the freaking high notes that she... And she just... you couldn't understand anything. Anyways.
That's why.
What else did we see at Cup?
We saw Chain Reactions.
Ah, yes.
All right, so... A movie about people who were influenced by the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, right.
And all the meaning gleamed from it, such as Stephen King, Takashi Miike, Patton Oswalt, Karen Kusama, Alexandra Heller-Nichols. I loved hearing how this film affected them and their work, and being such a fan of this great American art piece. And yes, I'm calling it an art piece.
It is an art piece.
It's always exciting to be immersed in anything that surrounds the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I really liked reviewing it with different perspectives, but I don't think it's as strong a film from director Alexandra O. Felipe, who, if you're not aware, directed one of the greatest documentaries called Leap of Faith about William Friedkin on The Exorcist. That movie, if you want to see, in my opinion, his best film. Now, he's made a lot of great films.
He's made a lot of great films.
He's like almost everything he makes, in my opinion.
And this one was very good.
If he gets to 8, I think this is one that we will definitely have to talk about.
Yeah.
But this for me was a high mat. I didn't get it till Mondo. Also, mostly because, like, by the time we got to the end of it, I'm like, I don't fucking care what you guys think about this movie anymore. Like, I need to move past it.
It became a little repetitious as it went on, and it lost steam. I was all in on Patton Oswalt.
Patton Oswalt was great. Takashi Miike was great.
And then it seemed to be diminishing returns, and I don't think it actually was diminishing returns. It's just we're going over the same thing in kind of the same way, and it just got redundant.
It did.
And that's... I still really enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, but why did you enjoy it? Like I think you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it because I'm a huge
fan of the movie.
Exactly, and that's the whole thing, and that's what I was going to say. If you're a fan of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you're going to enjoy this.
Yes.
If you're not a
did.
fan, you'll probably enjoy it for about 2 or 3 segments.
Yeah, I
and
wouldn't
then,
have liked it.
Yeah. No, you
and then
didn't
it's
even
gonna-
like
and then
the
it's
movie.
gonna be a little
didn't like the
tedious.
original.
Yeah, no,
At all.
I think that's
it is, but if you like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
You're at
it's,
least gonna
it's
like this.
really worth watching.
Yeah,
but
totally.
it's a high man.
If nothing else for Patton Oswalt.
Oh, Patton Oswalt was great.
And
Takashi Miike.
The two of those were like bangers.
Yeah. But yeah, it's so cool to see how these guys were influenced by it and how they felt film in general was influenced. And yeah, it was it's crazy. I mean, Takashi Miike is like, nobody wants to go to Texas because we all just figured there was a,
Chainsaw
bunch
killers
of
everywhere.
chainsaw killers running around there.
I mean, there isn't.
It's probably
always
one or
assume-
two.
Chainsaws and shotguns.
I've been to Texas a few times. Actually,
And you haven't been murdered?
I have been exactly to Texas 4 times.
Ah.
And each time, I not once saw a chainsaw.
You see shotguns?
I saw lots of shotguns.
I'm
like,
sure you did.
everybody's just walking around with them. It's like
Cowboy
it's like-
jersey.
it really does work if you go. The stars at night are big and bright. Back in the heart of Texas, they'll all scream it. It's a thing. You hop off the. I did it when I hopped off the airplane. All the stewards,
They all joined in. Well,
There you
stewards
go.
and desses,
Yeah.
they all did it. And then I looked for Pee Wee, but he wasn't there.
he wasn't there.
Because you
All
know
right.
what? He was in the basement of
All right.
the Alamo.
So
Yes.
So that
Okay,
was
then.
what, 2 Mondos there?
Those
No, you had a man.
Well, it was 2 Mez.
2 Mez.
But prior to that, it was 2 Mondos.
Devo was Mondo. And
then
Chain Reactions was nicely done. Better late than never.
That's right.
Ever.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Oh, yeah. You know what? This has been exciting. I
Yeah.
can't wait to hear what Murray's going to give us.
I don't think Bryce is gonna like this much either.
What?
You probably won't either.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So yeah,
Maybe
Is
some
it
do
your favorite
musicals?
Ariana Grande
No.
movies?
I should have.
It's musicals. Something to do with musicals.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Oh, thank God.
I was bored on Saturday night.
What?
It was cold outside. My car was covered with
Baby,
a
it's
foot of
cold
snow.
outside.
Couldn't go anywhere. Nothing on TV. Well, PBS was showing the original Murder on the Orient Express from
Oh, the original.
1974.
The original's great. What are you
So
talking about?
yeah, I watched it. I know you guys don't like Kenneth Branagh as Poirot. This film was so
No, I hate
much,
it. Jim doesn't actually mind it.
so much worse.
What?
Much like the remake, the original threw together a bunch of Hollywood stars and just swirled it around. First, there's the main character. Kenneth Branagh was by far the superior Hercule Poirot. I found Albert Finney's version to be a bumbling fool, an incompetent old man that I wouldn't trust to find my lost keys.
Maybe he was just acting that way.
If he was meant to be the comic relief of the film, mission accomplished. God, did I ever hate him. Oh man, the whole movie, he ruined it completely.
I think Murray, I think Bryce is actually liking this. What are you talking about?
Well, you guys both hate these movies, so I figured as much. Now, there's no doubt that Lauren Bacall is an accomplished actress, and she puts in a decent performance here. But I will always pick Michelle Pfeiffer every time. Then we have Sean Connery as Colonel Arbuthnot.
Did he have French accent too? Because that would have
He's
been.
Scottish. He has no accents. He's a Scottish
What are you
accent.
talking about? He had a Scottish accent when he was speaking Russian in the
I'm
Hunt for Red October.
Yes, one of my favorite movies. But his Russian was terrible. I'm confused about this character from both versions. He's from India, but he's not Indian. In the remake, he's played by Leslie Odom, an African American who falls in love with a white woman at a time when it's not allowed. In the original, he's played by a Scotsman who is in the middle of a divorce to an Indian woman, I think. Either way, Sean Connery was wasted and miscast in this film. Like, I don't even know why they put him in it.
I think he's
'Cause he's
always
Sean Connery.
miscast.
As the rest of the cast, I prefer.
When
the-
was
for the
he
most-
wasn't miscast?
He was pretty good as Bond.
Was he?
Yeah.
He was okay as Bond, and he was good
He
as
was Highlander.
Let's not even talk about that one.
He played a Spanish dude.
Yeah, he played a Spanish dude with a Scottish accent.
Yeah.
Or when he played The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It was a perfect role.
Oh, stop
Then
it.
that one movie,
One of the worst movies
that
ever.
one movie he spoke. He had Japanese. It was the one with Wesley Snipes. He was a Japanese dude in that one. Anyway, yeah. As the rest of the cast, I, for the most part, prefer the actors from the remake. Willem Dafoe, Judi Dench, even Johnny Depp. So much better. Neither film is all that great. I'm guessing the book is way better. Still, I like the murder mystery genre, so I will always take a chance on the whodunits. Anyway, that's pretty much
Here's
all
a
I
hint.
did.
It'll be a who don't it with me.
Yes, I know. That's what I did this weekend.
Nice.
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
Oh, wow, sweet, sweet rage. All right, this is not necessarily an unusual rage for me. However, what probably was not the right thing to do before we started watching Wicked is put on a bunch of operas and stage performances that are coming
Oh, and the trailers.
as in live action theater projects, so that you're actually seeing the live performances, because that's exactly how I wish we would have seen Wicked, is just put it out as one of those ones. It's a special appearance thing, and let us watch the original the way it was intended. And what actually continued to make me rage before we even started watching Wicked was that we got 5 trailers before Wicked. All of them were either live action
Opera.
either live action reimaginings
Oh, yeah.
of cartoons
Yeah.
Yay!
or
Because it was
or-
a kiddie movie.
or sequels of cartoons before we got into Wicked.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking to myself, what the actual fuck is happening here?
They were trying to appeal to the kids.
Exactly, which goes to show this movie wasn't made for
Adults.
adults, in my opinion. Like, maybe people that are big into Disney, which I am absolutely not,
I'm not
big into
at all.
Disney, because Disney, in my opinion, ruins everything.
No, they had the cast of about 3 different Disney shows in this movie. It seemed.
Yeah, it was just like, you know what we need to make a superstar Disney film, and we'll just fill it full of Disneyisms, and then on top of that we got Disney on top of Disney on top of Disney before the movie. So my rage is going to see these. I'm gonna no longer get there early. I'm gonna come 20 minutes into the
No, you
actual
gotta
commercials
see
and
you gotta
trailers.
see the trailers.
And
No,
they didn't
you
even
don't.
have an Ozempic commercial. So you know
No,
what?
they had 2. Well, they had 2 of them before
I just
the trailers.
asked.
You just asked.
I just asked.
And with all the billions of
Yes.
dollars that Ozempic's making, they still only had 1 freaking commercial.
Still the best commercial ever made. It's super.
It's Fupa.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's my rage.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
fucking trailers.
Yeah, that's what happens when you go to kiddie movies.
I guess that's what Wicked is.
why I don't do cartoons
It wasn't when
anymore.
I saw it on stage.
All right. My rage is
Annie Grande.
Wicked Part 1.
No. You said you didn't want to talk about
He
this
wanted to get
anymore.
all of his suffering over at once.
Get all his suffering. I have a feeling if he would have saw the actual musical,
I think he wouldn't have hated it as
suffered.
much.
I don't
Part 1.
Well, you can say the same thing about a lot of movies, like Dune Part 1.
Thank you.
And now we have, what, a Part 3 coming
think.
up?
Can't wait for 3.
I have no. I don't
And
even,
they're all 3.5 hours long.
I
freaking-
wish
That's my rage.
Yes,
Dune,
no.
period.
If you're gonna make it 3 hours long, it should at least be the whole movie.
That's all Dune is. It's just
That's all you got.
7 hours
now
of
do Ariana Grande.
Yeah, at least sing the song. Popular.
Is that what she said? I have
That's
no
one of the
idea.
songs, yes.
Popular.
Rage subsiding. Pulse slowing. Anger fading.
All right. Well, we were missing the Mur last week,
Yeah, well.
and we didn't know how much time we were gonna have, and then I was sick, and it was like a big shit show. So,
was a whole
if this is your first time listening to our podcast, welcome to the Rage. And if you liked Wicked and you stopped listening after that, because you're like, who could listen to these people who didn't love
Yeah,
Wicked?
they're idiots. They
Then
didn't
we're
like
not
Wicked.
we're not the right podcast for you. But if you want to go check out our lists page, it's at filmrageyyc.com. Go to the lists, and on there you will see 5 lists. You will see the mesmerized, the repulsive, the doubted, the undoubted, and the once mesmerizing. And so we have to try and take down our mesmerized list, because if 2 mesmerized actors or actresses or people are in a movie together, there can be only one Sean Connery.
That's right.
So-
there can only be one.
The Mur has been trying to desperately get rid of Tom Hardy, and he believes he's
Desperately.
found.
There's like 8 movies he was in with people on this list. So I
This
did
is
something.
great. All right,
There's nobody
so,
else. Like, I have so
Okay.
many no matches.
Do it
here.
again. Let's see. Try again.
All right, then. I've got one.
Yep.
It says with Olivia Colman,
Ooh.
Nice.
called Locke, with an E.
Lock with an E. L-O-C-K-E.
Yes. I don't know. I assume they're both in it, but yeah. That's
You
all I got.
assume they're both in it. Well, I hope
according
so.
to-
L-O-C.
According to your favorite website, they are.
My favorite website.
Tribute?
IMDb.
Tribute.ca? That's his favorite website. So it's Tom Hardy versus Olivia Colman in the movie Locke. L-O-C-K-E.
Yeah.
What year was it from?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't
2000
know? 2000
He
something.
doesn't know
something. I don't
everything.
remember that stuff.
All right, whatever.
I'm not a
Just be-
human computer.
Just be
Bryce.
thankful we even got that, Bryce.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm
Right,
telling
there's not
you,
much left.
so thankful.
I'm looking up Locke just so we all have information.
There's no
Apparently,
reason
I'm
to-
not connected
Don't
to
really.
Bryce's
You don't really
internet.
need to look it up. It's
Apparently
from
I'm-
2013,
13. Yeah, there we go.
and yeah, I don't know how long Coleman's in it.
They're at the start.
She's not in the top.
The top 2 on IMDb: Tom Hardy, Olivia Colman, right beside each other.
Really?
Then there's Ruth Wilson, Andrew Scott's in it,
Yeah, I got
and Tom Holland was in it.
Tom Hardy, Ruth Wilson, Andrew Scott,
So
Tom
all the-
Holland,
all the
Olivia
British
Colman.
Toms?
The Britishes.
All
yeah.
the British Toms and all the British
Brits.
Olivias?
All the Brits. Yeah.
I've got her as the 5th person on there, but
Wow, this is second.
yeah, well,
All right,
Top
so
build cast.
so it's from what year?
2013.
Oh, it's
Nice.
pretty recent.
fairly recent. Yeah.
Nice. All right,
Well,
well,
the first she won
I'm
all
kind
the
of looking
awards.
forward to it.
Anything else? No. Yes.
No, that's it. We didn't have it. There's
Don't want to put Annie Grande on the mesmerizing list.
I don't think Bryce might put her on the repulsive list, but you
He
and I
might.
didn't think so. So
I don't know if
that's
she's
not
been
going
in
to
like
happen.
one movie, but
Last week on Rage or Dare, the boys were forced to suckle from my proverbial rage teat. Ah, yes, I remember that particular proverb well. And when they chose, they selected the highly debated remake of the classic Hitchcock film, Psycho, remade almost scene for scene
for shot.
in 1998 by Gus Van Sant. This week, it's Bryce's job to rage or dare, although I'm sure he will complain about it in some way. Now, let's check in with the boys and see if an almost shot-for-shot remake of a classic film is rage-worthy, or if it, just because it flagrantly copies the undoubted Alfred Hitchcock, it deserves to be seen anyway.
Okay, first of all, I don't believe it's my turn this week.
It is your turn.
Okay.
I believe you are wrong.
You should always check our website. It lists everything down.
So Psycho, directed by Gus Van Sant.
Yep.
Yes. Shot for shot.
Well, it's not, and
Thought it was.
this is what I remember it being.
Yes. Can I go first then, please?
No.
No.
Okay, so I am a big enough person to admit when I'm wrong.
That's good of you.
I watched this again, and
Simultaneously?
I was just irritated by it this time.
Oh,
like
right. Isn't
completely irritated.
I can't wait to hear this.
And here's the whole thing:
Vince
if
Vaughn wasn't
if it
mesmerizing?
was shot for shot, and it was a big middle finger to Hollywood,
Preach it, sister.
I'd be like, I'm all in on this. But it wasn't shot for shot. They changed things. They made stuff silly. We had to watch. They even like stuff that was like kind of implied in the original, like him,
Yes.
him masturbating while he was spying on
I can't
her.
wait to talk.
That was such a cool, but it became when plus Vince Vaughn. I'm sorry, you are no Anthony Perkins. Oh my God, the last scene of the movie, it's like he was doing Gomer Pyle. What is that?
All right.
With his facial expressions, what the hell is going on? And he was Gomer Pyle through the whole bloody movie. Like, what kind of choice was that? Gus Van Sant, why did you want Gomer Pyle? Why didn't you just get Gomer Pyle? He was probably
He was
still alive.
Yeah. All right.
It's like, what the hell is going on? At any rate, just little things. If they would have done this shot for shot, I would have said, cool, big middle finger to Hollywood. But not only do they change that, they have to have Anne Hesh sprawled over the tub showing her ass. Don't know why we needed that. They had to have blood in that scene where we never got in the original. She slides down and then there's like blood on the wall. I didn't need that. If you're gonna do something original or try to do a twist on it. Don't kind of half-assed copy it. And yes, all of the major scenes are the exact same angles, the exact same amount of time. But, when the scene where he's picking up Mother and taking her down to the cellar, and you've got that shot from above, and like everything's exactly the same in the major scenes. But it's not all the same. And so it's not the exercise that I thought it was, which is kind of admirable in a way, because it is a big FU to the studios. But that's not what this is, because we changed a whole bunch of things. We changed even when they were in the original, the sheriff's coming out of church when they have the conversation with him. I think in this one, I can't remember. I believe they're talking to him on the phone, and he's at home in like his robe or pajamas. It's like if you're gonna do it, do it. If you're not, don't. And I don't even know what this was, because I was so disenchanted with this when I watched it again, because I was like, no, this isn't what I remember. This isn't a big FU. So FU Gus Van Sant for making me watch this remake. I don't know what I was thinking the first time I saw it. I don't know if I just hadn't seen Psycho in a long time and I was like, this is kind of funny. I don't know what mood I was in, but this is tedious and just frustrating. And watching Vince Vaughn as Norman Bates is, God, it's awful. He's not good. He's not good. I didn't like this. This was a rage, and I didn't think it was going to be.
Nice. Okay, so this is why I wanted to go first, and I wish I would have. Of note, this film is not a direct shot for shot, as Bryce thought it was, as we discussed last week.
I'm glad I went first.
Because the original is 1 hour, 48 minutes, and 53 seconds, and the remake is 1 hour and 45 minutes. But Gus Van Sant still had extra time to change Norman's character from a predator to a sexual deviant predator. In the scene where he's watching her get undressed, as you've already alluded, to get into the shower, in remake they have Vince Vaughn jerking off. If you're going to have an argument that it's a middle finger to the studio, then do exactly that. But to make the character different by injecting
I
things
admitted I was wrong,
like
Jim.
jerking off, that's why I wanted to go first. I wanted to shame you. If you're going to make a character, just further ruins it.
Yeah.
On top of that, when Hitchcock shot the shower scene, he did so that at the time the film, as you're watching it, you really didn't know that Tony Perkins' character was a woman. But Van Sant shows It's blatantly Vince Vaughn. The guy's like 8 feet tall, and he's got shoulders like a brick shithouse. They show a close enough look of him. You know it's Vince Vaughn. So right away, the mystery of if it's his mother or if it's Tony Perkins, it's already ruined. You know this isn't his mom. It's these little things that changes the characters and gives away things that we aren't or shouldn't be ready for as this film continues to progress. On top of that, when the detective, played by William H. Macy, is killed, again, he throws in some subliminal messages which add nothing to the movie and again destroys the original feel and attitude. And again, we get Julianne Moore sneaks up to the place Van Zandt again takes her to find porno magazines.
Yeah.
Instead of the original, where she just found hard-covered books, like encyclopedias or classic literature.
Yes.
These small things make a different vision from the original. Small changes that is, again, you want to give a middle finger. Do not change these things. Also, casting in Van Zandt's version, we have casted Vince Vaughn, who is like 6 feet plus tall, and Viggo Mortensen is being towered over by him, whereas in the original it's reversed. Tony Perkins is meek and mild and more petite compared to Sam Garvin from the original. What Hitchcock did in this original was a perfect film. Every shot is perfect, every scene is perfect, every performance is perfect, and it took a seemingly normal but quiet and unassuming character in Tony Perkins and brought us to surprise and shock at a time in history that today it still holds perfect when you rewatch Psycho today, the original. In the remake, as much as a lot of the shooting was like shot for shot, like you already said. But all these small things that maybe Van Zandt wanted to create his own feel for the film brought me to a place that was not the original.
It just made me angry.
Changed my view of Norman Bates, and as I saw way too many times in this, is probably the worst version that this could possibly have been. Do not ever remake perfect films. That is a rule that has to happen. If anybody freaking goes back and changes anything of Orson Welles' films, like you're just doing a travesty of justice.
This is just total exploitive.
This was not needed,
garbage.
and I can't watch it without comparing it to the original. And I actually did start watching this to watch it shot for shot on my TV. And as soon as it started going off the rails, I went, I can't even watch this. So I watched the crap version, and then I watched the original version, and I went, oh my God, like it's so horrible.
It's awful. It's so awful. And I don't know. As I say, I watched this however long ago. What was it, 26 years ago or something?
It was 1999. You saw it in
25
cinemas
years
probably,
ago, yeah. And for some reason, I was amused by it back then. But
you probably weren't as.
But I also probably hadn't watched Psycho in. I don't know how long. I probably watched it when I was about 15.
Did you rewatch it again for this one again?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
But everything.
Because you got to wash that taste out of your mouth.
Well, the thing is, I've watched Psycho probably in the last 2 years though. So it's. I mean, there's so many glaringly obvious differences where it's like this isn't a middle finger to the studios. This is just bad. This is just freaking bad. Like, dude, why? And like he made just bizarre choices that just makes no sense. The way you don't change Norman Bates's character into some sexual deviant. It's like, what is going on?
That's just literally
the reason why it's on everybody's list of worst movies ever.
Worst remakes, anyway. All right, you get a choice there, little buckaroo. You've got the Murr, you've got me, you've got our dare bag, and
Casey's bag looks pretty full.
Casey's bag also looks full. So, what do you feel like?
Where's my bag, by the way?
You don't have one.
You don't have. That's right.
Not that I could choose out of it. I'm gonna get that sucker ready here real quick.
Yeah, you should probably take it.
Because
I'm hoping you pull El Conte because I really want to talk about it.
All right, so I am pulling out of Jim's bag, and what am I getting? I got to only choose one. I'd like to choose more because I know they're all going to be actually pretty good.
Yeah,
Jim has no idea what I like and what I don't. He thinks he likes.
That's right. I mean, I thought you said you liked Psycho, the remake.
And I did not. I did not. I don't even think this is a movie, so
Well-
can I choose again?
Nope. What is it?
It's Bachelorette from 2012.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
I don't think that's a movie.
Yeah, I think it is.
From which year?
2012,
2012.
Are y'all ready for this?
It's Kristen Dunst.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, well, it's probably.
You love Kristen Dunst.
Is it a raunchy bachelor
I don't.
movie?
I wouldn't say I love Kristen Dunst. Hey, it's got Isla Fisher in it. She's always funny.
It's perfect.
She was great in Wedding Crashers.
Nice. I can't wait to hear
Three
you talk
friends
about.
are
Hey, it's got James Marsden in it. I'm in.
There you go.
Well, now that you like James Marsden movies,
Well, they're all awful, but
I don't know. That's
they
not
can't
true.
all be awful.
Okay, this is interesting. Little fun fact.
It's got Adam Scott.
I recently watched Now You See Me Too because again, I got
Will
nothing else to
Ferrell
do.
was a producer.
And Isla Fisher and Lizzie Kaplan are both in this, and they were both in Now You See Me movies.
There you go.
Lizzie Kaplan.
Maybe
actually
this is like
she actually replaced Isla Fisher's.
Maybe this is going to be Now You See Me, the prequel.
I believe.
Oh, looks like Rebel Wilson's in it too. There you go.
I believe this is
Murray's
going to be.
favorite.
I think this is going to be good.
I can't wait till you see it.
This is one of those ones that I have never seen. So
I saw it in cinemas.
I am truly looking forward
I've
to
been
it.
holding on to this for a few years.
So
Lucky
Jim,
you.
thank you.
You're very welcome.
In advance.
I am looking forward to Bachelorette from 2012.
Bachelorette number 1.
Starring Miss Kirsten Dunst.
That's right.
Also known as Bridesmaids, the sequel.
That's right.
I mean the prequel.
All right.
Wow. Thanks, Ragers, for listening. Thanks to the extended Film Rage family, who you can find in our show notes. Thanks to Casey from The Nerdy Photographer, the voice of Rage or Dare, and our God of Rage. Find us on social media everywhere at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com, including our merch site for Redbubble and TeePublic. Get all of your Thanksgiving gear for your family at the Film Rage merch site. We always want to make this a raging blast for all listeners, so please comment, like, and subscribe, and send us emails to filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Dare to see terrible movies to fuel our rage, but no matter what you do, please, 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 pretty please, 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 make us rage. That's it for this week. Rage on!
Rage on.